Hello, hello. Welcome to One or Live broadcast. We It's a program we discuss random topics every weekend. We choose any topic that we choose that we discuss that every weekend. Your job or you communicate as a listener is to call the number that is on the screen, or you just leave a comment on the comment section. Okay. This evening we'll be discussing about relationship, marriage. What were your goals for your relationship and marriage? Do you do you have, or do you set a goal for your relationship? Do you had any goals set for your relationship? That's what we're discussing this evening. And there's a number on the screen: +444 744 982 3879. You can call the number to join in on the program. What were your goals for your relationship or marriage? Did you have any goals set when you met each other or you're in a relationship? What is it that you're expecting from that relationship? Did you set up any goals? Maybe in 10 years, 5 years from now, what do you see that relationship going? Or maybe you're married. And what is the do you have any goals? Do you guys, maybe the couples, you set the goals for yourself, maybe in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, where will you see the marriage going? How strong are you expecting that marriage to get to? Discussing this evening. So you can call on the number on the screen to join it. Leave a comment in the comment section. Relationships are one of the subjects that no one taught you on how to read, pass the exam. When you're in a relationship, you learn the subject along the way. Many people enter into a relationship without any experience, while some have had a lot of experiences, both failed and healthy ones. Many enter the relationship without experience, while some have had a lot of experiences. They've tried similar experiences, both failed and healthy ones. When two people meet, sometimes there's a love at first sight. They progress a long-term relationship, which can lead to marriage. Sometimes it leads to partnership, just stay together a bit. Many times they only focus on their love for each other. Love each other. Focus on that love. And you forget to set a goal for that relationship. In doing so, it looks as if a relationship or marriage is a burden, because love is not enough. When you depend only on love, it's not enough, because you believe that your partner or your girl boy loves you. Because of that, it's okay. It's nothing to worry about because he loves you. It's not enough. Love is not enough in any relationship. You need to set goals. You need to set goals for a relationship, for it to progress, for that relationship to be strong, for that relationship to move forward, for that relationship to bear fruits. You need to set goals. Early in any relationship, it feels like you are inseparable from each other. You are intoxicated with love and hope. That love is there, intoxicated. You love each other. The vibes are there. You know, you got hopes. But as time goes on, years by, the sweetness begins to fade away. Sometimes you have children, the partner start focusing on children. There's a lot of distractions. The sweetness begins to do what? Fade away. You begin to argue on any little thing. No more communications. You became enemies sometimes because the sweetness is fading away. Communication is thrown out of the window. There's no more communication. It's thrown out of the window. The sweetness is gone. It's like a burden. Both of you are committed. You're committed to the relationship. You're all committed to the relationship. When there's conflicts, little acts start coming. When it becomes as if it looks as if maybe there's no more there, it's nothing there for you start fighting each other, you start all those kind of things. Most times many people what normally do is what they choose the easy way out. Sometimes they have to jump ships. Sometimes they go for divorce. Some of them, what they do, they normally they abandon the relationship. Why? Because most people don't really set goals. There's no drive. There's nothing, that they look up to. There's no goals, something that, bring them together. They just depend only on that love. They love each other. Like I said earlier, it's not enough. That's what we discussed this evening. Reasons relationship fails. There are reasons why it fails. Most times, people depend only on the love. They forget to do what? Set goals for themselves. They forget to do what? Start doing things they were doing before they got married, or they stopped doing those things they were doing before. Maybe when they were dating, you understand? All those kind of things, they start neglecting all those things. They become what? They just leave it for faith, live in the hands of love only, which is not right. That's what I'm saying this evening. Many couples don't set goals in their relationship, and some of them may not understand that a relationship is a partnership. That means there's no I in a partnership. When you're in partnership, something like a company or something, in a company, there's nothing like I. It's a group of people. But in this case now, it's a group of two people that come together in a partnership. It needs both parties to make it work. Because of that, some couples don't have dreams together. They don't recognize any achievement in their relationship. And they don't have plans for any in the future. Because they don't see their relationship as partnership. In any relationship, for two people resonate in a relationship. Those two become partners in what they're doing. What happens? Both of them have to make it work. They have to put in effort to make that relationship work. So when one person is struggling, or when one person is lacking behind, the other person have to do what? Try to encourage that person to draw him up. But when one person doesn't put in effort at all, it makes that relationship to do what? To fail. For instance, let me just give you an instance. I use the company, like I said to you earlier. In any organization, companies, they tend to have yearly reviews on how the company did throughout the year, the losses and gains the company made. We have to improve to push the company forward. Every year, the company, they tend to do what? They review everything that they did throughout the year, the losses they got, the gains that they gain throughout the year. So if there are places that they have to do what? Improve on, they do that. If there are places they do, that's why. So the same thing should be brought into any relationship. Every relationship should have a review. Can do that 6 months, can do that every year. What have we achieved throughout this year? Especially those in a long-term relationship. If you are just doing a short-term relationship, I don't think you need that. But if you're in a long-term relationship, if you're married or you're in partnership with someone or you're cohabiting with someone, but you guys are staying together, maybe that relationship might bring children or something like that. It needs a review. It needs a review at the end of the year, or at the end of the year, or every 6 months. It depends on how both of you agreed on it. Review what you have achieved throughout that year, the losses and gains, mistakes that you did throughout the year, where to improve on, and what to do, things that you have to leave behind. If there are things that you've done that you guys achieved throughout the year, both of you do what? You see that, yes, this is it. It's part of our goals we set for ourselves throughout the year. We achieved this one, I achieved that one, I achieved this one. But we need to work hard on that one. We need to improve on this area. That is how it is. You have to have a review in order for you to do what? Keep up, to make that relationship work. If you depend only on love, depend only on infatuations, depend only on, goodies and all that, I don't think it will last. As a couple, two of you should go through your goals for the year. If you have one, let's say that your goal for the year is to move home, buy a car, or save for a mortgage, have your own house, or buy a new car, or have children, or maybe have child or something, maybe have children. Having a plan in place on how you would achieve it is necessary. Have the plan. How are we going to achieve it? How are we going to save for this car? How are we going to save for this house? And that is the reason why communication is vital. You need to communicate to each other. It's vital. It's a way to map out ways to achieve what you are planning for yourself. The line is open. I would like you to call me if you want to contribute to the program. What are the reasons relationship fails? Do you set up goals for yourselves? Do you set goals for yourselves? You and your partner, or you and your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, do you guys set goals for yourself for a year, or for maybe 5 years from now, or 10 years? Do you have goals? What is it that you know, that relationship? Do you set goals? Because without goals, I don't think the relationship is always fail. It's struggle. That relationship struggles. The line is open. You can call me if you want. I would like to hear your thoughts, your views on what we're discussing this evening. I said that communication is vital in any relationship. If you set goals for yourself, so you already plan out what you're going to achieve for that year. But without communicating to each other, I don't think it's nice. You need to communicate to each other. You need to plan. You need to map out how you're going to achieve it. What we have to do. And this for two of them. Two of you, partners. Partners, you set up goals. What do? You discuss together on ways to achieve it. How are you going to do that? How are we going to do it? We need to save some money. Do we need to borrow some money? Those are the discussing, both of you, on ways to achieve that goal. At the end of the year, you review your goals for that year. What are the things that you did to achieve? What are those things that you did? What mistakes did you do? What mistakes did you make? And what areas do you need to improve? Those are the things that you're discussing. Remember, most people don't really know that any relationship is a partnership. It's a partnership. And once you are in a partnership with something, even either maybe in a company or something, everybody has to work. Everybody has to contribute. It's a partnership. They come together. The lady, the man came from different homes, different parents, different upbringing, but you come together. You love each other, that you agree together, that you're going to stay together. Coming together is a partnership. That means both of you have to do what? Have to work together. And you cannot work together if you don't have a goal. What is it that you want to achieve? Why are you in this relationship? Why are you guys together in this partnership? That's where goals come in. You need to set goals. Yearly goals, maybe half a year goal, 6 months, but you have a goal that you have to achieve, something that drive you, something that drive you guys together. So we're discussing this evening. What are those things I think if you have goals, how did you set goals? Relationship. Many relationships sometimes some couples you notice sometimes that maybe one is working and the other one is not working. Sometimes one might be working while the other one is studying, or both are working. So planning is very, very important in a relationship. Planning, coming together, sitting down together and plan how you're going to do things. Planning is always very, very important. Communicate, plan on how you're going to achieve whatever you're achieving, whatever is your goal. Many, like I said at the beginning when I started, relationship is something that is that subject that no one teaches you how to pass the exam. No one teaches you how to fail the exam. No one teaches you how to read to pass the exam. You learn it along the way. You jump into a relationship, you meet someone, for example, you love each other, you meet each other, sweethearts and everything, just like going. But the more you stay together, I'm talking about those in a long-term relationship, maybe marriage or something like that. The more you stay together as years are going, the more you stay together as years are going. If you don't have a goal, if you don't set goals for yourselves, it becomes so boring. It become what? So boring. It become so dull. It becomes so. It's like become a burden. Become turns to a challenge because there's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to look forward to. Maybe you, both of you, planning to have children. Okay. Yes, you have family planning and all that stuff. But if you don't plan properly, if you don't set goals, even when the children comes, you find out that those children now will become what? Become burden. Why? The focus will now turn to the children. And to your few, there won't be any no communication. There's no more. You don't have that teamwork anymore because all the focus were what on only on the children. Understand? So that's the reason why you need to have goals. Set goals for yourselves. Now the children are here, but because you plan ahead, you already set up goals on how to handle that situation. The children are here. Yes, if it's 1 or 2 children that you want, set up goals. How many years it's gonna be? The intervals, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It's a planning. Plan those. If one is studying or one is working or both are working, it's planning. Come together, you communicate, make it easier. Map out time for both of you to have time for yourselves. Time to go out together. Time to, have night out. You can go out together and look for someone to take care of the kids. Communicate to each other. Go out, have some fun. Otherwise, the relationship will become so dull and boring. But it needs planning. It needs setting goals. You need to set goals for yourselves. What to do. The line is open. I would like you to call me. Let me know what is your thought. Call me. Let me know what you think. Sometimes it needs you. It needs you having time for yourself. Sometimes, like for example, your goal might be to go to school to have your degree, or you want to do your master's, or you are in a relationship with somebody. You can't just think about it and just jump into it. You need to discuss with the person and plan it together and do what? Have set up the goals. How are you going to do? How are you going to achieve it? Do you have the money to pay for the school fees? Do you have money for that? What about if you have children? Who's going to take care of the children? If you don't have children, the other one is working and you want to study, how are you going to do to accommodate each other? Those are like, you need to communicate to each other. You need to talk to each other. Communicate. Talk to each other. Map out time when you can talk, you can communicate to each other. I've been emphasizing more about communication because in every relationship, without communication, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. You need to communicate. You need to talk to each other. Even as you're going to set goals, both of you have to set a goal that you can achieve. Not just have to make a vague goals. You're everywhere. Set goals that you can achieve. It might be goals that you can achieve. Maybe you just 3-4 months goals is set. After that, you can set another goal. But you set goals for yourselves. It's a goals. How are you going to achieve those goals? The line is open. I would like you to come and let me know what you think. Say the reasons relationship fails. Reason relationship fails. When you are not in partnership, when everyone is doing their own thing, when you don't communicate to each other, when there's not mutual respect between both of you, that you don't really talk about it, you don't really, put in more effort into that relationship and realize that that relationship is for two people, and those two people is what become partners, and that partnership is to do what, to achieve something, and that something is what we're discussing this evening. What are those things that you want to achieve in that relationship? It's, though I know that some people that are married, they can say, we're going to stay together till death, do us part. Does not mean that you're going to die the marriage. Nah. If you don't set goals, the marriage is going to die straight away, because when you're with someone 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, becoming so what? Becoming so boring. You need to set goals. You need to set goals. What that you look up to. Things that will what drive you forward. Something that will always make you to wake up early in the morning. You're happy. You have that drive. You have something that you're looking up for. Something that you're gonna achieve throughout that year. But that you can't do that without talking to each other, without communicating and agreeing on that. Remember that in relationship, when you all come together, I'm emphasizing on long-term relationships. You're cohabiting with somebody 1 year, 2 years, staying together. That cohabitation might be what might bring children. You have kids, not a long-term relationship. Or you're married and you're living with your wife or your husband together. What is it that you guys are looking forward to? What are the things that you want to achieve in near future? I made mention earlier about some people, they want to buy cars, maybe they want to buy a house, they want a mortgage, or they want to build their own house, they want to have children. And these are things that you need, right? So how are you going to get it? If you want to buy a car, you need money. You might want to buy a car, at the same time you're trying to save for mortgage, or you want to save for a house. At the same time, you want to have children. At the same time, all of them can be a conflict. You can just conflict on each other. Just gonna be like a big problem, because if you don't plan, how are you gonna achieve all of this? Because when your wife got pregnant or when your girlfriend get pregnant, with time she's gonna do what? She might not go to work. Even if she's studying, she might have to like take maternity leave or something like that. And that period, it might be only you that is working. So how do you guys plan? What's the plan? You want to buy a car. She's pregnant. It's only you now working. How are you gonna sustain throughout this period? These are things you have to like do. It's a planning. You have to communicate. And most families, you find out that when it's getting to that stage where maybe the partner is pregnant and the man is the only one going to work, you always bring a dent into that relationship if there's no planning, if they didn't talk about it, if there's no what goals, if they didn't plan, talk to each other properly. That's always a problem. Because in a relationship, you need to make that time for yourselves. Now the children are not there. You have all the time to go out, have some fun, enjoy yourself. But now you're expecting to have children. There will be changes because someone else is coming now to join the party. And when it's to that, how do you plan? How are you expecting that child to come in? And when the child comes, there's always what takes attention, isn't it? Either the mom is one taking care of the child, or the dad who might be maybe the one staying with the child. You understand? So do you guys map out time? Are you gonna stay together? Do you guys map out time that you guys gonna be going out together? Do you guys map out time for you, both of you? How do you interact with each other? How do you, that quality time do you normally spend together before? How do you do that? You guys recant, that time, because there's a third party in there, which is a child. How do you plan? What are the goals that you set for yourselves? You can have your individual goals, which is okay. But how do you support each other to achieve these goals? How do you support each other to achieve these goals? Remember, I said earlier, relationship is a partnership. It's a partnership. So individual goals is welcome. But being in partnership, how do you support each other to achieve that goal? How do you support each other to achieve that goal? How do you support each other? Do you just think about yourself without putting the other person into consideration? Do you just wander off and do what you want to do without discussing about it? Just without talking to your partner or talking to your husband or your wife, without planning, without communication, without talking about it. Your goals are good. Individual goals, they are good. But once you bring conflict into the relationship, now it becomes a burden because you didn't discuss about it. Or if you discussed about it and plan on how to achieve it, like I said, at the end of the year, you do your review, what you achieved for that year. On that review, you already know where you made mistakes that you did, or the mistakes that you make throughout that time. What do? You correct the mistakes. The things that you have to leave behind, you leave them behind and choose the ones you're going to move forward with. Those are goals, I think. You set goals for yourself. At the end of the year, you review the goals. But if you don't set goals, how are you going to know what you have achieved throughout the year? How are you going to know? You want to save some money. If you don't set goals, what you are going to save, how much you want to save, how are you going to know what you achieve throughout that year? That is what we'll discuss in this evening. How are you going to know what you achieved throughout that year with that review? That's what many people don't really understand. In any relationship, it doesn't matter. But if you're married or not, you're just cohabiting. They're supposed to set a goal for the year, what you have to achieve that year. And you cannot set it just for yourself. Both of you have to sit down together and plan what we have to do. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to achieve this year. This is what we're going to achieve this year. But how are we going to do it? What are the plans? What are we going to do? Remember, if you have children, you put the children into the plan. How are you going to do? What are you going to do to achieve that? If you don't have children, you still plan together how to achieve it. Depends on what your goal is. Like I said, some people might they want to buy a car, they want to have a new house, they want to build their own house. Maybe they want to have a mortgage. These are something that the partnership comes in now. You're going to sit down and discuss how and ways that you're going to achieve that. You can't just stand up, everybody doing their own thing, when you claim that you're in a relationship. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You never achieve anything. The only thing that it brings is division. It brings what? Division. And it draw those people behind. You draw them back. You draw them back. Do you have a goal that you set for yourself? Do you set goals in your relationship? The line is open. You can call me and let me know. How do you do it? What are the things that you guys achieved through your goals? Remember, set goals. Remember, relationship, especially long-term relationships, you can't just stay just like that without thinking about yourselves, having time for yourselves. Those things that you guys been doing before, for example, when you are dating each other, when you are just cutting, you met each other newly, there are things that you are doing those days. Fun things that you do together. But now, because you stayed together for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years together, now you're living together, you're married, you're now in a long-term relationship, you're becoming dull, you're neglecting yourselves. There's no more plan, there's no more goals that you set for yourself. There's nothing that drives you forward. That relationship becomes what? Dull, become boring. That's when people start looking aside. Start looking aside. I said, if you set goals, you want to build a house, you want to buy a car, you need to talk about it. You need to discuss on what to do, how much you're going to save a month, how much is this one going to contribute, how much this one going to save, how much you spend on the money, how much you're going to spend on food, how much you spend on that. Then how much you're going to save. Those are goal setting. You set it together. At the end of the year, you go through all of that. You will see why you made mistakes. Then you correct those mistakes. Why you gain, you take that one, you take it. If there are lapses, you cover it. But if you don't set goals, if you don't discuss about it, if you don't talk about it, if there's no communication, it doesn't work. And when someone is doing their own thing, the other one is doing their own thing over there, and both of you're claiming that you're in a relationship, you're partnership, It doesn't work. It doesn't work. One thing is to have a good listening ear to listen. How do you talk to each other? How do you communicate? How do you communicate to each other? How do you work together as a team? Do you, in any partnership, in any company that doesn't, the employees or the people that they employ, the employers, if they don't work as a team, that company doesn't, that company doesn't do well, doesn't progress. The same thing if you bring into a relationship. If you work as a team, when you work as a team, when you have goals, when you set goals for yourselves and plan how to do what, achieve it, and see, map out ways that you're going to achieve it. Then at the end of the year, you come back. The same thing in companies they do. At the end of the year, they have yearly parties in it. Then they will sit down, the board meetings. Then they will go throughout the way, all the things that they do throughout the year. They will see the gains, how much profit they made in a year. If there are losses, they will check what they did that made them to lose money. It's something that it bring that into your relationship. The same. It's a partnership. Two of you will agree on something. What you have to achieve that year, the same. He bring his own, she bring his own, put it together. Then you plan it together. How much you're gonna save, how much you're gonna contribute, how much you're gonna do this one, do that. You bring that together, you discuss about it. Now you're working as a team. You work as a team. And in any team, if you don't talk to each other, if the person that is working on the right does not know what the person working on the left, what he's doing, it's no more a teamwork. Both of you are supposed to know what you're doing. Both the right hand and left hand supposed to know what they're doing in order for you to go faster, to do that work properly. But if someone is doing different thing and the other one is doing the other one, just it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's no more a teamwork. You become individual. Now become what? Self-centered, which is not good. But if you work as a team and plan, you map out the approach, ways that you're gonna tackle that, the ways you're gonna achieve it. I always say that at the end of the year or end of 6 months or 3 months, it depends on what goals you set for yourselves. You come back again to the drawing board, you come back to the table and go through what? And review all that you guys did throughout that year. You find out that yes, there are places that you made mistakes. There are places that you did well. Go there. Why? This, that, we did this, we did this one, we did that. We made mistakes here. Next time we're supposed to do this. We're going to do it that way. We're going to approach it this way. The way you take it didn't go well. Those are the things you do. With that, what happens? You achieve your goal. But with that review, if you don't review your goals, if you don't review what you're doing, if you don't really talk to each other and know what the left hand is doing or know what the right hand is doing, it doesn't really work. It brings problem, it brings issue. That's when it becomes a burden. It looks as if maybe relationship is hard work. You start arguing for little things. You start fighting over something that doesn't make sense because there's no communication. There's no listening ear. No one listens to each other. It's no more there. You don't have time now for each other anymore. You don't do the things you used to do before. Forget the fun things that you did before, because now you're just depending only on the love that you have for each other to carry you along. Love is not enough. Most times it's not enough. It can take you a long way, or it's not enough. It's not enough. That's why it needs to talk. It needs to communicate to each other. It needs to do what? Have a good planning on what to do. Love is not enough in a relationship. There's another thing that many people do in relationships, especially in the Western world. There is a lot of competitions in a relationship. A lot of competitions. Two people coming together, they profess their love for each other. They profess their love for each other. They believe they're going to be together in a long-term relationship. Maybe their relationship might lead to marriage. Now they're coming together, a husband and wife. They don't have a plan. They don't have a goal. They don't nothing. What happens? It becomes a competition. She's doing her own thing. The man is doing his own thing. It doesn't really work. It becomes so much. Yeah, Jen. Someone put on the comment section. He said you can. Oscar said show relationship without hard work, you can't keep relationship. Yes. Without hard work, you can't keep relationship. Yes, without hard work, but there needs to be the hard work. Sometimes the couples they make that relationship to become hard. It becomes so hard for themselves because there's no communication and there's no goals. They didn't set any goals for themselves. If both parties set goals for themselves, because when there's goals setting, you really, even on your own as a man or on your own as a woman, you already know what you want to achieve in a year. When you are just on your own, you're single, you always set goals. You know what you want. Okay, bring that into that relationship. Two of you now, the same. You set goals for yourselves. But you cannot set any goal without talking to each other, communicating. That's something that people don't really understand. You need to communicate to each other. You need to talk. And when you talk, what happens? You plan on how to achieve that goal. You plan to achieve that goal. Because if you don't plan, you cannot achieve it. If you can't plan, no. That's when you see. I was saying something about many people, mostly most couples in the Western world. There's a lot of competition going along. A lot of competition. When you see two people, they are together, they are in the house. It's like they want to compete against each other. They're competing against each other, which is not right. You are a partnership. You are in partnership with whoever that you are with. You are in partnership. And once you are in partnership, both of you have to do work. Like what Gentle said, Oscar said here. He said what? It's hard work. That both of you have to work. You need to work as a team. You have that teamwork. Work as a team. Doesn't matter who is any more or who is any less. Come together, plan, smart plans and ways to achieve what you want to achieve that year. You set goals. That's what it means. You're setting that goal. This is what we want to achieve this year. But how can we do it? That's when that communication comes in now. You're going to talk to each other and ways how you're going to do it. Okay, you're going to save so amount on this every month. This is how much you're going to spend on food. This is how much you're going to spend on this. This is how much you're going to spend on that. Then we're going to save this one. That's the planning. From there, what happens? At the end of the year, you come back again and sit down and talk. It might be in between. You can discuss as well, review what is happening. If there's any changes or circumstances that change, because you never know what can happen. There might be unforeseen circumstances that comes your way that change the plans that you have, the goals. Then you set it again, But at the end of the day, there's that goal that you guys are looking forward to. You want to achieve that goal. But how do you do that? Through planning. Then really plan. But if you don't talk to each other, it's difficult. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Yeah, Oscar said as well, he said, life on itself is what? Hard work. Yes, it's hard work. That's the reason why you need to plan, have a planning in place. Plan on how you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. Put it in place. Success in everything is hard work. Yeah. That's it. Yep. In everything that you do, you have to, for you to achieve what you have to achieve, you have to plan. You have to look forward to it. You have to plan. You have to plan. You have to map out a plan for it. Understand? So what we're discussing is the relationship goals. Do you set goals for your relationship? Do you have goals that you set for your relationship? Without goals, the relationship, what happens to it? The relationship fails. Without goals, relationship fails. Mind you that when you are in a long-term relationship, after a couple of years, if there's no plan, if there's no goals, that relationship, what happens? It starts fading away. There's no more fun anymore in it. You start losing each other. When there's no goals, you start neglecting that relationship. And that's when that relationship start dying, start having conflict and everything. As I said earlier, some couples don't set goals for themselves. They don't set goals. They don't even really, they just leave everything in the hands of fate. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to set goals. You need to make that relationship to be lively. You need to, because what I'm saying is that relationships is like a partnership. You need to work with it. Yes, Oscar said what? It's hard work. The same. Everybody has to put in work. Everyone has to put in work to achieve success in that relationship. Everyone has to put in work. And as well, the same thing as well is like if one of you is lagging behind, the other one have to do what? Encourage the person to come up. Move that person a bit. You understand? It's teamwork. It's a teamwork. You need to work together in order for you to achieve. It's teamwork. It's very much teamwork. You have to work. You know, many many women or many men, some of them, you see that sometimes they do their own thing, they forget the other person, and then they complain as well that it's very very hard, relationship is too hard. What is this? What did I put myself into? Well, at the end of the day, if you are two, you don't work together, it's going to be very hard. Something that you're going to achieve in 1 year, it will take you 4 or 5 years to achieve it, because everybody's doing their own thing. But if you are together and talk to each other properly, you find out that it's going to be a little bit easier, because now you have one goal that you want to achieve. Two of you having one goal, and you pursue that one goal. What happens? You're going to achieve it. Understand? You know, that's what we're discussing this evening. That's what we're discussing this evening. Okay. So it's necessary that you have goals. Set goals for your relationship. Set goals for your relationship. Make out time to stay together. Make out time to go out together. Make out time to have fun. Make out time. Those things that you guys doing before maybe you have children, or before you stay in that long term relationship. Make out time to do those things. It might not be easy, but if you plan on how to do it, it's going to be easier for you guys to do it. And that's the reason why you need to have goals. You need to set goals for yourself. Okay, right. I think I said a lot this evening. Okay. Yeah, if you stay with us till this time, I would like to appreciate you. And I would like to say thank you to Oscar. You can Oscar, the comment and everything, your contribution to the program this evening. I appreciate that as well. If you're joining us for the first time, I would like you to as well subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube, on one on Facebook, live as well on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter as well. Okay. And then I would like to say thank you all for making this program success this evening. And I will see you all tomorrow, same time, 7 p.m. UK time. Have a lovely evening. And God bless.